Hi, welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. I'm your host. Today, what we're going to do, we'll talk about how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. And you know, that's a question that virtually every single interviewer asks in an interview. I can't tell you how many times that I've had that question asked of me in my pre-self-employment days. And of course, most of you can attest to that. You know you've heard that question many, many times. But you may be thinking, God, I didn't answer that question the right way. How do I do a better job? My goal is to tell you how to answer the question, but I also want you to know why the interviewer asked that question. I'm going to tell you what you shouldn't say. And of course, what we'll do again is we're going to go ahead and craft that perfect answer. And that's all up next here on Over 50 TV. Before we move forward with this video, what I want to do is tell you a little bit about me. I am the founder of two successful publishing companies. One was a chain of business-to-business magazines that went national. I also founded or co-founded at least a dozen other businesses. I've hired hundreds of people, and I probably have interviewed 10 times that many. So if there's anyone that can tell you what the hiring manager's thinking, anyone can tell you what they're looking for, if there's anyone that can put you inside the head of the hiring manager, I can do that for you. So in this video, what I'm going to do is help you to answer the question, tell me about yourself. So let's talk about why you are sitting there. Why the hiring manager is saying, tell me about yourself. Well, in my mind, there's only one answer. They want to see your presentation skills. They want to know how you're going to represent the company. They're going to want to know, will you rep them well? They want to know if you're likable, if you're charismatic, if you're someone that's presentable. Those are pretty much what they're looking at and why you're there. But there are some other specific things that they're going to be paying attention to during that interview. And again, I wanted to keep something in mind. This is such a golden opportunity for you. It's such a golden opportunity to shine. You know, nowhere can you be asked a question that you know you're going to be asked. So you've got plenty of time to prepare for this question, to prepare the answer. Now, they're going to be looking at your communication skills, your language skills. They're going to want to know, do you speak clearly? Do you get nervous if you're talking to them? Are you someone who is going to impress them? If you're impressing them, they know you're going to impress their clients, especially if you're in a position or going into a position where you're going to be dealing with the public or dealing again with clients. So that's really the one reason, in my mind anyway, that you're sitting in front of them. You're there because they want to see if you can impress them. Now, there's a couple things that I need you to remember when you're sitting in that interview. Number one is you got to remember that they've already looked at your resume. After all, that's why you're there. You're there because they've looked at your resume. They may have even done a phone interview. You've passed their first test. You've passed maybe even a second test, and now you're sitting in front of the interviewer. So don't go ahead and recite line by line your resume. You know, it's okay to go ahead and highlight some of the key points, some of your achievements, some of your accomplishments. Yeah, go ahead and do that. But you don't need to spend too much time talking about your resume. Again, line by line. It's just not a good way to spend that valuable time that you have when you're sitting in front of the hiring manager. This isn't the time to do that. Now, there's three things that I say you always got to watch out for that when you're sitting in front of that the interviewer. Number one is don't recite your life story. You know, don't say, hey, I grew up as a little boy, I grew up in the west side of Cleveland, I went to this high school, this college. I mean, there's no need to go over that. That's just a waste of time. You want to keep your answer short. You want to keep it, well, we say just short and sweet. And you always want to smile. You want to be energetic. You want to be enthusiastic. You want to just come across like you've got a lot of energy and you are there to impress them, and you want them to know that you're there to get that job. Okay, my friends, I'm going to tell you how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. And I'm going to give you two methods. The first method is a formula. And it's a three-part formula. So let's start with that one. First part is you're going to tell the person you're talking to, you're going to tell them where you're at today. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to tell them where you've been. And number three, you're going to tell them where you'd like to be. And where you'd like to be in relationship to the company that you're interviewing for at that moment. So that is Formula One. And what I'd like to do, though, is give you just kind of an example of how I would answer that question. And if somebody asked me, Lou, tell me about yourself, I would say I'm the publisher of Over 50 TV. We provide career tips and business startup advice and never before seen real life stories to people who are over 50. Bam, that's where I'm at today. Now, where have I been? I have been the publisher and founder of 2 publishing companies. I founded a business-to-business publication. We serve the small business niche. I also founded a weekly newspaper. Both publications were extremely successful. The business-to-business publication I end up selling. It grossed millions of dollars in sales, and we were the #1 publication in our niche at that time. I would also, after I give the #1, #2, #3 is I'm sitting here today because I am very interested in working for your company, running your publishing division, your media division. I know that my experience would dovetail perfectly with the requirements that you have. I have managed companies, I've managed and hired people, and I've also helped companies to grow and to develop and to become worth millions of dollars. So that's how I'd answer that question. Very simple, very easy, very what I always say short and sweet. But that's how I'd answer that question. Now that's the elevator pitch. It's designed to get someone to look at you and think, God, I'd love to have this person working for me. Now that's the elevator pitch. But there's another way of doing it. And it's a way that I've used at times, and I do that a lot do this a lot when I'm in a sales presentation and I'm selling a product or selling one of our services. I will use props. I will actually have a slide, something printed out, which will talk about what I just said in #1, 2, and 3. It'll talk about where I am at, where I've been, and where I want to be. So I'll have slides. But I like to put together a presentation and just really show it to someone. And what I usually tell people when I'm doing that is if they'll say, tell me about yourself or tell me about your company, then I just simply say, well, you know what? I've prepared a presentation. May I show it to you? Or let me show it to you. And invariably, they just say, yeah, Lou, let's see it. We'd love to see that. And it shows that you took some time, you prepared a presentation, and you want to show them specifically with illustrations and or just the written word what you've done. So those are two methods that I believe work. It's up to you which one you want to use. For me, I prefer using the second one where I'll use slides. I say the same thing as I say in method 1, but I just use some illustrations and some slides to give them what I think a more visual representation of my product or, again, of me. One more thing I want to mention is that when you're talking to the hiring manager and you're giving them your elevator pitch or your presentation, you'll want to be sure that you focus on your achievements and your experience that is relative to the position that you're applying for. You don't want to go off on some tangent and give them information that would apply to another position or another job. So I want to thank you for watching Over 50 TV on YouTube. For more business startup tips and career advice, just go ahead and subscribe and be sure that you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great day, everybody.